Welcome to Go Ball Sports, Season 2, Episode 6. Dave Myers is our producer. He's Ken Keller. I'm Scott Shastine. And we are happy to be here in the Apex Restoration DKI studios on this beautiful Wednesday in Tullahoma, Tennessee. If you're watching live on Facebook, give us a share. Share that puppy. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, we need you to subscribe and share the video. We're trying to build the audience. Well, let's start with that video that we showed as our opening video. You know, Jason Swain was a fine receiver at the University of Tennessee, has become a popular media voice in Knoxville. Very typical hype video that teams release before games. The Tennessee audio video department is fantastic at that. That's a great hype video for the game. But you know, unfortunately, Ken, if you're gonna talk the talk, you got to walk the walk, and the Volunteers did not walk that walk.
No, you know, Tennessee fans were hoping it would be different. You know, it's been since 2001, I think, since they won in the Swamp. And you know, he said it's about us, but you know, if you walk the talk, you got to back it up, like you said, Scott. So Tennessee fans were hoping the outcome would be different on this one,
but it wasn't.
No.
Same old thing in the Swamp. We've got multiple segments on multiple sides of this game, and so we're not going to get into it right now. We will a little bit later in the show, but we're going to start tonight with high school football. Now, I remind you that the high school football season's half over. Pretty much every team in the state has played 5 games. Most of the open dates are on the back end. There's 6 more weeks to go. We've played 5 weeks, but it's half over. Teams are halfway through, so it's going really fast. And some teams are really starting to make statements. Let's go to the board. Well, first let's look back. Friday night, you and I were in Fayetteville, Tennessee, on the roof, calling the Wildcats and the Falcons. We'll talk more about the roof situation in a little bit, but I don't know. Ken, it's great to see the Wildcats win. And like I talked to Coach Sisk on the field after the game about, anytime you can make winning plays and scoring plays, it builds your confidence, right? But Lincoln County, not very good. I'm anxious to see if they're not the worst team in Region 5-5A, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
But for Tullahoma, they just had to get a win to stay in the playoff hunt, and they got it. And for once, it wasn't really special teams that won it. Offense played a big part.
Yeah, offense, you know, really finally opened up. 39 points, you know, by far our biggest production offensively on the year. And when you start the game out with I believe it was a 53-yard touchdown pass after great field position, perfect pass and catch, you know, and jump up early, and then you end the first half with a 100-yard plus interception return by Liam Grider, hey, you know it's going to be a good night, and it was. Tullahoma opened it up, had the mercy clock running for a little bit there late in the game, and it's the kind of win that really builds your confidence. You got a you know, a really good Columbia team. We know we've been watching the scores of their games. They score lots of points. Tullahoma scoring that many points really bodes well for them from a confidence standpoint going into this week.
And that's a game we're going to pick at the end of the program, so stick around for that. Let's go to the board here and take a look at high school football. Week 5 scores. Let's see what surprises us. We told you Oakland was going to drill Blackman, but we didn't expect Riverdale to beat Rockville quite so handily. Siegel gets their loss. Tullahoma beat Lincoln County. Franklin County went to Lynchburg. And this was a close game until the 4th quarter, and the Blue Raiders blew it open in the 4th quarter. Dawson White is the man. I've been telling you about him since last year. He's the man for Moore County.
And on that one, hey, folks, you got to watch our predictions, really, for high school, college, and pro. Scott, you nailed that one. I went back and re-listened. You called it. You said that Moore County would win by at least 2 touchdowns. You covered that 41-24, 17-point win.
Franklin County have now lost to 2 Class 1A teams, South Pittsburgh and Moore County. Coach Hayworth, I know you probably inherited the schedule. Nip it with the 1A schools. You can't win. You can't win, not just win the game, but even if you beat them, it's a no-win. Columbia shutting out Lawrence County, biggest surprise of the night for me. Shelbyville once again rolls big. Spring Hill got their 2nd win of the season. Now this was a 3-1 team. It's a brand new school, but they came in 3-1. Spring Hill beat them. I told you, they're gradually learning how to win. It makes a difference. Over here, big win for Marshall County. Grundy County finally took their loss. The Battle of the Mountain turned out to be no battle at all. Marion County, ranked number 2 in the state in Class 2A, rolled over Sequatchie. You can see the rest here. Huntland is hapless Huntland. They haven't won a game. They've barely scored a point. That's what happened last week. Most of our ranked teams stayed in the rankings. Grundy County managed to hang on, and I'll tell you why, because there's just not a lot of teams in this area that even have winning records. So at 3-1, the Grundy County Yellow Jackets stay in despite their loss to Providence Christian. They're number 10. Columbia jumps into the poll for the first time. Score here shows 29-7. We know that was actually 31-0. Columbia over Lawrence County. Columbia now, along with Tullahoma, in prime position to host a first-round playoff game. Only thing is, they probably got to win out in the region to do it. Collinwood jumps back in, jumps up to number 8 with their win over Hollow Rock Brewston. Collinwood at 3-1. Siegel again falls after losing to Hendersonville, that 28-21. Forest, we hadn't seen them in a while. The Rockets, all they've done is win 4 straight. They beat White House Heritage. They jump up to number 6. Marshall County, again showing their strength after that loss, rolling over region opponent White House. Had Tullahoma State in Class 4A, they would have had to play White House this year. Jumping to number 4, Shelbyville, big win over Wilson Central. They're 4-1. Shelbyville and Columbia looking like the strength in Region 5A. We're going to find out a lot more this week. Oakland moves up a spot as they beat Blackman handily. And again, Marion County and Moore County stay at 1 and 2. They've been there for most of the year. Moore County ranked number 2 in Class 2A. Marion County number 2 in 2A. Moore County ranked 4th in Class 1A. South Pittsburgh is number 1. So Moore County, Marion County, Oakland, Shelbyville, Marshall County, Forest, Siegel, Collinwood, Columbia, Grundy County. That's your South Central Tennessee High School football top 10 for Week 5. Looking at Week 6, quick glance at Week 6. It is all region games, getting deep in there. Riverdale and Coffee County, no contest. Siegel and Blackman, it's a battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in that region behind Oakland. You got Riverdale, Siegel, and Blackman all battling here. Let's see what Siegel's made of. Blackman not very good this year, but you go to Blackman and win, you got to have a pretty good squad. I expect Oakland to beat Rockville handily. Columbia, Tullahoma, we're going to pick these 3 Region 5A games. Well, yeah, these 3, not this one. This one, and this one later in the program. Columbia at Tullahoma, Shelbyville at Franklin County, Lawrence County at Spring Hill. We're going to know a lot more about Region 5A, and we may even start looking at some standings next week. Lincoln County, Giles County, non-region game. Look for Giles County to keep rolling. They'll probably make their way back into the top 10 after they drill Lincoln County. Fayetteville at Marshall County on paper. Beginning of the year, this looked like a good game. Marshall County will win that big. Coalfield and Sequatchie, I have no idea. What do we got on this side that looks good? Be interesting to see if Grundy County, Sale Creek is not very good. Can the Yellow Jackets keep it going? I don't ever remember a time when Grundy County was 3-1, and I've been doing this 40 years. They're having a big year. See if they can keep it going. This is a big region game right here. big test for Moore County. Got to go to Cornersville. Cornersville ranked, Moore County ranked. I like the Blue Raiders pretty handily, but we'll see. And then I know some people going to Huntland. I think it's homecoming for the Hornets. Unfortunately, they're going to suffer their 6th loss at the hands of Richland, who's not very good. So, week 6, again, Region 5, 5A, 3 region contests. We'll pick those toward the end of the program. So, with all that said, Mr. Keller, the Tullahoma Wildcats host the Columbia Lions Friday night, 7 o'clock at Wilkins Stadium. It is homecoming for the Wildcats. Tullahoma 3-2, 1-1 in the region. Columbia 3-2, 1-1 in the region. We're not picking this game. We're just previewing it a little bit. What do you know about the Columbia Lions that you can share?
Well, I know they got a really good running back, but the thing that sticks out to me about, seeing their score against Lawrence County was at 0 for Lawrence County. So that kind of, if you're Tullahoma, you're wondering if you can expose that defense because they've been giving up lots of points. Don't know what Lawrence County has. Of course, we hadn't seen them yet, but, somebody throws a goose egg right before they play you. Maybe the defense is coming around. Conversely, Tullahoma scoring 39. So I'm looking forward to the matchup, man. Is it going to be a low-scoring game or a high-scoring affair? We'll see.
The interim tag has been removed from Columbia head coach Tredarius Goff's title. He is now officially the head coach of the Columbia Lions. The players love this kid. He won a state championship with Columbia about 10, 12 years ago. I saw him play for 3 or 4 years. He was tremendous. He is really turning things around there at Columbia. They've just looked better every week, and there's not too many teams you can say that about.
Yeah, they've already played Shelbyville, and I believe that's their only loss that they've had.
2-point loss.
Yeah, just a really close, high-scoring game there. And so we'll see how this one comes out. We're looking forward to it. Tullahoma's still looking for their first home win. So, that's going to be a big battle Friday night at Wilkins Stadium.
Need to get that home win, don't we?
Yep.
All right, let's get into some segments here. That's a look at high school football. Again, we're going to pick some games at the end of the program during our Golden Games segment. But right now, it's time to hand out those ever-popular participation trophies.
Gold Ball Sports, where participation trophies simply don't cut it.
Okay, go first. All right. It's participation trophy here on Gold Ball Sports. And so, this is the place where participation trophies simply don't cut it. So we're going to go ahead and award those now. Look, there's some unwritten rules in baseball, like don't bunt up 15 runs late in the game. There's some unwritten rules in football, college and pro. Like don't call a timeout with 7 seconds to go when you're down by 13 points. Dave, cue this video up.
Knocked down as he took a knee. A flag comes out, and that is a fitting ending to things.
Here we go.
Yeah, this is about to get ugly. Oh, look at this. Guys are throwing fists.
Yeah, so you hear, Kirk Herbstreit, he did reference the timeout there in that video. Look, an ill-advised timeout by Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel gets my participation trophy this week. You're down by 13 points. They're running the clock out. There's no such thing as a 13-point touchdown, okay? You can spin it any way you want to spin it. That helped precipitate and lead to this brawl, okay? So, got it handed out to you. Do not call a timeout when a team's running the clock out and you're down by double digits. No coach, not only for Josh Heupel, anybody. And you saw what ensued there afterwards, because basically you have your starting quarterback with an offensive lineman, and those two guys are squared up. Joe Milton and the offensive lineman for the Florida Gators, like they're in the octagon, fixing to get it on. I mean, squared up on each other. Could have been a dangerous situation.
I got to throw a penalty flag here, Dave. All right. I got to throw a penalty flag on this participation trophy.
I got to find it first.
Throwing the flag.
All right, here we go.
Big flag. Penalty flag, Ken. That stops you in your tracks. Dave, I need you to roll that video back. Roll that beautiful bean footage of the end of the Tennessee-Florida game and stop it right here. Stop it. Okay. First of all, that's not Joe Milton. Okay? That's Kamal Haddon and Amari Thomas. Not Joe Milton, not the quarterback. Okay? Second of all, there's not a punch thrown. This is not a brawl. There's not a punch thrown. This is just a typical end of a football game. Roll it.
Here we go.
Yeah, this is about to
Anybody
get
throw
ugly.
punch?
Here.
Oh, look at
Anybody
these
throw
guys are
punch?
Doctor guy.
Anybody throw
Right there.
punch?
Yeah,
right
right there
there.
it is.
Florida guy
Yeah.
threw punch. Florida guy
But the
threw
Tennessee
punch.
guy was squared up too. It
He
all
squared
could have
up on
been
him.
avoided
Squared up on him.
if your
I'm
head coach
sorry.
wouldn't have called a
Your-
timeout.
Your participation trophy is undeserved.
Okay, well I'm glad that it sparked some controversy. But look, you don't call that timeout. I think there was some players suspended after the game on this week. I think
No
three
punches thrown.
three
Except by
Florida
Florida.
players, one Tennessee player. But look, what led to that? Look, the timeout it helped set it up. But Amari Thomas hit the quarterback, Graham Mertz, when he's trying to run around and run the clock out. He came in and got a personal foul penalty on it for, roughing the quarterback on that. So Amari Thomas hit him, and that's what started the melee. The offensive lineman came in to defend their quarterback, who was simply trying to run the clock out.
Now, wait a minute. If you're running the ball, you're subject to be hit, right?
No, not in that situation.
No, the quarterback didn't take a knee behind center, didn't he? Come on.
Consider
Come
the
on.
situation.
Come on. He
Consider
didn't
the
take a knee
situation.
behind center, did he?
It was a
No,
cheap
he
shot.
started running around
Scott,
to kill the clock.
come on, man. Take the
Do we
orange
have the
glasses
shot?
off.
Do we
Scott.
have the shot on the quarterback? Let's see just how light and nothing it was. It was nothing.
Why did Heupel call the
Nothing.
timeout?
I don't know.
Knocked down as he took a
But
knee.
you've got to quit
A
saying
flag
things
comes
that aren't
out,
true.
and
No, he did hit him, and he got flagged for it.
Can we go back to the yeah, but you're saying
Amari Thomas put a
he
cheap
doesn't
shot
have
on
it.
him.
That's fine. Come on back to us. That's fine.
We've got it in-
I'm going to end this here. My participation trophy tonight, my participation trophy goes to the PA announcer at Meadows Thompson Stadium in beautiful Fayetteville, Tennessee. This guy, now first of all, I want to credit him for a good, strong voice and a lot of energy. He had a lot of energy in spurring his team on. Do we have anything other than picture, or that's what we're going with?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like for you to hear it. All you got to do is watch the replay on LightTube of the game. You're going to hear him for 3 hours. But the thing that earned the participation trophy for this guy, very nice man, when his team, the home team, I get so excited. When the home team had the ball during like second and third and fourth down, this guy would spur the home crowd to get loud and make some noise while their team had the ball. That's not how you do it. Doesn't work.
No.
First time, 40 years of broadcasting, 50 years of visiting college football stadiums, whatever. Never once have I ever heard the home announcer encourage the home fans to make some noise while their team has it 3rd down and 1. Ken,
Yeah.
guy was great. He was loud. It's not his fault. He was in our ear. That's our personal issue. But we just kept saying to each other, I can't believe he keeps doing it. He
Yeah.
just keeps doing it over and over.
Yeah,
It was funny.
It was bizarre. I mean, it was really bizarre because they kept playing that purge siren when he would get them riled up, and it was on his own offense. So, I mean, these guys are trying to call signals or maybe even audible. There's no way they could hear it over that ruckus.
Good thing there wasn't a full crowd actually making a lot of noise
Yeah.
because the offense wouldn't have been able to hear it.
Yeah, and Tullahoma did what they had to do, Scott. You score early, you score often, you build a big lead, and that lets the air out of it a little bit. But hey, I guess you got to give him some kind of credit. He was fired up. He never gave up on his team, did they? Even
no.
when they put the mercy clock
That's
on,
right.
he was still doing it.
Let's make some noise.
Yeah.
All right, good deal. Good participation trophies. Let's flip quickly to Pigskins college football.
All right, we're in the Dr. Pepper zone now. It's time to get it on. Time to put the sweatband back on. Now, Scott, I played for
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, when I was, back in 1979, I played for Dr. Pepper and Babe Ruth. And, boy, I wish I would have had one of these sweatbands, but I used to wear an Atlanta Falcons. These were our colors. You know, of course, the maroon and white. They were sharp uniforms. Played for Mr. Mobley. He would light a cigarette up and in practice and just squat down and watch the whole time and tell the outfield to scatter out. He'd say, guys, he said, if I had a bum, I'd blow every one of you up out there, just because we were congregating and just talking and not really practicing. But those were the good old days. So I'm going to put that on, and we're going to look at our top 25 right here. So let's check out our top 25 poll.
After you get a big swig of Dr. Pepper.
Yes. Truth or consequences? We're going to play this again, folks. We're going to see out of this top 25, there's some truth, and there's some teams that suffer the consequences. Scott, I want to pass the red cup over to you there, and you pick out a number.
Now, I was accused of cheating last week by a faithful watcher of the program, because Alabama came next to last and Tennessee was last. So I was accused of cheating. So I'm not even looking at this cup.
Hey, man, you didn't look last time, but you pulled them out perfect for me last week. You set the table up good for me.
Number 8.
Number 8. Where is number 8? Right here. Let's start off with Michael Penix and the Washington Huskies. Look, if Shedeur Sanders of Colorado is not the leading Heisman Trophy contender, this guy, Michael Penix, is. Watch out for this team here. We haven't talked about them a whole lot, Scott. You know, everybody talks about Caleb Williams and USC. Watch out for this team here. They just tore Michigan State, the Spartans, apart 41-7 at Michigan State this weekend. Washington is the truth. Keep an eye on them.
The Huskies.
The Huskies.
Where do they start playing next year? I can't remember. Not the Pac-12. They're going somewhere. Probably the Big Ten, right?
We got to unscramble that puzzle.
Yeah, that's a summertime
future
project.
Show. Yes, it is. Yes,
Number 13.
Oh, 13. Consequences, and more consequences. Was not called out at the end. Called out second today, folks. Look, Alabama still does not have a quarterback. The Tyler Buckner experiment was an epic fail. They go and put up three first quarter points against the South Florida Bulls. A total embarrassment before the thunderstorm hit. I don't know what happened unless the thunderstorm saved Alabama. They regrouped, went in, benched Tyler Buckner, the Notre Dame transfer, and brought Ty Simpson in. I thought Ty played well. Now, look, I think that Jalen Milroe was sitting out this game for suspension. That's the rumors going around. I also saw some offensive linemen and running backs that did not block for Ty Simpson. Caden Proctor, the left tackle for Alabama, and Jace McClellan, the running back for Alabama. I've got some team chemistry concerns about Alabama. They dropped from 10 to 13. Alabama suffers the consequences. They may face more against Lane Kiffin this weekend. We'll look at that in a few minutes.
Faced the same fate that the Vols faced after their narrow win over an inferior opponent, right?
Yeah.
Alabama wins and drops.
Yeah. Same deal. Yep.
Number 1, 3, and 4. All together.
Oh, okay. This is our first cluster. 1,
it's a cluster.
3,
no, this whole
and
show's
4.
a cluster.
All right, so that's 3 of your top 4 teams. The point I'm going to make is none of these teams are dominant teams. All 3 of these teams incurred a close win. Georgia Bulldogs were behind 14-3 in Athens, the South Carolina Gamecocks. They did come on strong the second half, but reasons for concern. They may suffer future consequences down the road, may the Georgia Bulldogs. The Texas Longhorns tied in the fourth quarter against the Wyoming Cowboys. 10-10, they poured on. 3 fourth quarter touchdowns just like they did against Alabama. They pull away 31-10. Future consequences for the Longhorns, perhaps. And Florida State, they get the benefit of 18 penalties called against Boston College and pull out a narrow 31-29 win. Did Florida State against BC, 17 of those penalties in the first half. They remain undefeated. Do they face the consequences against the Clemson Tigers in Death Valley this week? We'll make the prediction on that game in our Golden Game segment a little bit later.
I'll have to say, I thought Boston College earned every one of those penalties. So
it's a lot of penalties.
That's a lot of penalties.
Yeah.
I put that on Boston College
Yeah.
more than I do Florida State. I have no number.
No number.
No?
Okay.
Is that a trick?
Might be a trick. That might be a wild card. Let's set it to the side. If we have a team that's not covered, I'll set that to the side.
Okay.
Could be a wild card.
23.
23 right here, folks. Consequences, and more consequences. Tennessee dropped 12 spots in the poll. Look, to me, these other teams have got beat. LSU didn't drop 12 spots when they played Florida State. I know Florida was not previously in the top 25, but the Swamp, folks, is a tough place to play. Ask the Vols. Since 2001, very tough place to play. Look, the consequences for Tennessee, Scott, let's talk about this game a little bit. Your impressions on Tennessee's game against the Gators.
I wanted to puke. How about that? My impressions. Disappointing.
Orange puke.
Lack of effort. Lots of useless plays and 3 and outs. Penalties. Lots of penalties. I think 10 penalties. It's kind of looked a little undisciplined. It wasn't a good performance. As a Tennessee fan, it's no surprise. I mean, we know we go to the Swamp every other year, and we get our ass kicked, and we get over it. So it is what it is.
Well, a tough loss for the Vols. They were hoping a different outcome. Certainly, you saw the hype video that says it's on us. It really was on Tennessee. The second quarter is where Tennessee lost this game. Listen to these stats in the second quarter. Now, when I turned this game on, we was with Tullahoma Elite Football playing on Saturday. I missed the first quarter, and it was 7-6. I said, okay, that's about what I thought. Tight game. Second quarter, 1st and 10s, Florida 9, Tennessee 1. Rush yards, Tennessee 24 yards rushing, Florida 50. Passing, Tennessee 1 for 4, 3 yards. Graham Mertz 7 for 8, 72 yards. Tennessee had an interception. Florida outscores Tennessee 20-0 in the second quarter. Goes into the half with a 26-7 lead. And on plays run in the second quarter, Tennessee 11 plays, 27 total yards. Florida 21 plays, 122 yards. Folks, there's consequences when you don't play 4 strong quarters. The second quarter for Tennessee, just too much to overcome, Scott. That's where they lost the football game.
The joy that he is having this week is almost unbearable.
No, not
K-State.
K-State. No joy for K-State. You know why there's no number and why you called out a name? They're no longer in the top 25 because they went to Missouri and lost to a Harrison Mevis 61-yard field goal at the buzzer. The Missouri Tigers still not in the top 25, but neither is K-State. They suffer big consequences because they dropped 10-plus spots, no longer in the top 25, Scott.
Mevis is sitting at the base of the podium tonight, looking up at my 3 podium members, and he's hurt because Saturday I had the thicker kicker all over the podium. But
hey, late scratch, huh?
Yeah, what he missed 5 field goals against Tennessee or something last year.
Yeah.
The thicker kicker.
Yeah.
He nailed it. 61 yards. That was awesome.
Yeah. And the thicker kicker, Harrison Mavis, has been the benefactor of being a participation trophy winner and a medal winner both, okay? So, but, good for him. I was happy to hear that, and Missouri pulls it out at the end.
Missouri surprisingly undefeated, I believe.
Missouri undefeated, yep.
Number 16.
16, watch out. I mentioned this team here. There's another team in the Big 12 besides the Texas Longhorns. On our show, Scott, the first 3 weeks, all we've talked about is Steve Sarkisian, Quinn Ewers, and the Texas Longhorns. It's time to show that other team that's going to join the SEC next year a little bit of love. 66 points on Tulsa. They scored 73 earlier game this season. We've also always known that the Sooners could rack up points. They had 5 interceptions in this game. So you see the Brent Venables factor on defense starting to take effect. Watch out for the Oklahoma Sooners in the Big 12.
Number 12.
Number 12, the LSU Tigers, the most impressive team.
Truth or consequence?
Truth. Truth.
Just wanted to get that out.
Truth. Thank you for reminding me what this segment was. LSU's the truth, folks. And I'm gonna talk about their quarterback here during our medal segment. But LSU, to me, the eyeball test for me this weekend, most impressive team, 41-14 thrashing of the Cowbells and Mississippi State at Starkville. That's a tough place to play. LSU sometimes doesn't bode well when they play an early game, especially when it's against the Tennessee Vols and get boat race like they did last year. They got off the bus ready to play, and they splattered Mississippi State 41-14. Very impressed. LSU, in my mind right now the strongest team in the SEC West.
Well,
Beware.
Where's your Texas A&M?
They're gone. Consequences.
They got a lot of
Consequences for A&M.
But,
Yeah.
all right. The SEC schedule for this week.
All right. You know, this is such a great slate. We just got to put it up here this week. This shows you where the SEC teams are playing. Auburn, Freeze goes to Texas A&M. Can A&M rebound? You know, we're going to see. Can Freeze pull the upset? To be determined. We're going to see. College Station, A&M at home. I gotta give A&M the advantage in that game. Scott, what do you think? A&M the advantage there?
Are we not picking this game at the end of the show?
No, it's not a golden game, but it's an interesting game.
It's a boring game. But I got to go with. I can't pick Texas A&M anymore. I'm going to go with Auburn.
All right, so you like Auburn. Okay, Kentucky at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has beat Kentucky last year. And your quarterback that's now with the Titans at Kentucky last year, Vanderbilt going to try to beat them in Nashville this time. They have home field. The CBS 2:30 game right
and
here.
And because Will Levis is no longer with Kentucky, I'll take the Wildcats.
Good pick. Good. I like that. That deserves a Dr.
That's
Pepper
good
fist
logic
bump.
right there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Okay, so the 2:30 CBS game right here, lots of storylines in this one. Jalen Milroe named the starting quarterback for Alabama this week. He's back. Which Jalen Milroe shows up? Can they call a game plan that helps him out? Ole Miss, two former assistants. Pete Golden was the defensive coordinator at Alabama last year. Lane Kiffin, former offensive coordinator. 0-2 against Saban. He wants to beat him this time. This Alabama team's favored by 7 points, but after watching Alabama the last 2 weeks, I don't know how they could be favored against anybody.
If not now.
Dangerous game.
Right? If not now, when?
Yeah, if not now, when? UTSA, folks. Do you know what that stands for? University of Texas San Antonio. You know what their nickname is? The Roadrunners. That's what that is. That's a Roadrunner right there. So they're going to run down the road, and they're going to play the Tennessee Vols. Tennessee looking to rebound. Could be a hangover game of sorts for the Vols. I expect no contests on that one, Scott. It's time to open the offense up.
Yeah, it is. But let me just point out that there was a time when we sent a lot of volunteers here to save these people and save their states. So they need to remember that when they come to us.
That's a good one. We got the Battle of the Boot, SEC West, 6 o'clock Central Standard Time kickoff. Arkansas travels to LSU. I like what LSU's doing offensively. They found him a wide receiver. Defense, Harold Perkins involved in rushing the passer. Now they're turning him loose. Arkansas, beware of the Bayou Bengals. Charlotte, the 49ers travel to the Florida Gators. In the swamp, Florida cannot afford a letdown there. UAB, the Blazers, travel to the Bulldogs. Memphis at Missouri. Just saying, keep an eye on this game right here. Memphis has done it against Missouri before. You just mentioned Missouri was unbeaten at 3-0. They got a big win on Saturday on that walk-off field goal at the buzzer. And then we have Mississippi State at South Carolina. Both these teams coming off a loss. Man, that's a toss-up game right there, Scott.
Very disappointing. Very disappointing.
Yeah, I was too. I was disappointed in Mississippi State. So I think we're going to have some predictions on this game. That we've got a special guest
All right,
that's got some
move
predictions.
Auburn at Texas A&M. The War Eagles fly to College Station in an attempt to flog the Aggies. Head coach Jimbo Fisher makes more excuses for losing than Sleepy Joe does for Bidenomics. 12th man gets it done, and Jimbo avoids another participation trophy. Pigskins loser, Auburn. Ole Miss at Alabama. Coach Lane Kiffin rolls into a 2:30 CBS Tuscaloosa tussle with Alabama. Lane Train says he's glad Bryce Young is not the Alabama quarterback this year, and his upset bid to derail the Tide hinges on the accuracy of his own quarterback, which he hopes will be throwing darts, Jackson Dart style. Conversely, Bama counters with old school defense to save the day for the Red Elephants. Pigskin loser, Lane Kiffin. Arkansas at LSU. The Bayou Bengals ready for a hog invasion in Death Valley. This SEC West matchup pits dynamic quarterback threats KJ Jefferson and Jaden Daniels. Daniels put on a dazzling performance to rout the Bulldogs of Mississippi State last week, and now the Tigers are craving barbecue Razorback on the menu this week. Pigskins loser, Arkansas. UTSA at Tennessee. The Roadrunners of the American Athletic Conference sprint to Knoxville to meet a Vols team that dropped 12 spots in the latest AP poll. These Roadrunners will find their southern adversaries are as angry as a pack of Wild League coyotes and will be in no mood to play around. Pigskins loser, University of Texas, San Antonio. Pigskins other losers. Vandy would lose to Kentucky. The 49ers lose to Florida. The Blazers will lose to the Bulldogs. Missouri will lose to Memphis in an upset. And Mississippi State will lose to South Carolina. That's it for week 4. Until next week, put on a pot of chili, click on your favorite game, and yell loud enough for your neighbors to hear you. I'll be back next week on Gold Ball Sports with some brand new losers.
New losers on the show every week.
Yeah.
The podium. Let's go to the podium. Get it.
The podium. We're going to give away a bronze medal tonight on this year 2, episode 6, right? Yes. All right, my bronze medal winner goes to Minnesota Viking wide receiver Justin Jefferson. He hit the 5,000 receiving yards plateau and has done it only in 52 games. That guy's absolutely phenomenal. Probably the top receiver. I have to rank him number 1 in the NFL. He's been consistent since he came in as a rookie from the LSU Tigers, and he's just a one-man wrecking crew. Congrats.
He's great. Absolutely great. Hall of Fame written all over that number 18. My bronze medal tonight goes to the Motlow State Community College women's soccer Bucks. The Bucks. There they go. There they are. That is a photo after the first win ever on their own home field. They beat Spartanburg Methodist 5-0 on Saturday. Came back Monday and beat Wabash Valley College 2-1. The Bucks, ranked number 20 in the nation, are 6-1-1 overall. They've won 6 in a row. They will play at Columbia State tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. This is a game for first place in the conference. Both of these teams are undefeated in the conference. Again, Motlow ranked number 20. Columbia State's actually ranked 21. So this is a great matchup tomorrow night. And then next week, Columbia State will come to Motlow's home field. It's out at the Moore County campus. Admission is $6. It's a great team, great bunch of girls. Try to get out and watch them. Motlow Soccer gets my bronze medal.
Good one. All right, we're moving up the podium to the silvers. My silver medal winner this week is Jaden Daniels, LSU quarterback. All he did was complete 30 out of 34 passes in Starkville with the cowbells shaking and just blasting in his eardrums. To me, he is the most solid answer for the SEC West teams at quarterback. Over Alabama, over Texas A&M. I'm changing my pick in the West to the LSU Tigers, just as long as Jaden Daniels stays healthy.
That's a good pick. Dude's looked awesome.
He tore it up.
Really has. My silver medal tonight goes to Micah Parsons, starting linebacker, defensive lineman, wherever they want to put him, for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not sure what his stats were. I know it's something like, 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 for loss, a fumble recovery, a fumble forced.
You nailed it.
Yeah. I remember reading it once after the game. But this guy's the most dominant defensive player I've seen since Aaron Donald was in his prime, and he's not anymore. And he's one of the top 4 or 5 defensive players I've seen in the last 25 years. I mean, T.J. Watt, there's a few guys that have dominated for a number of years, but Micah Parsons, a young guy, to me is the most exciting defensive player in football right now, and he gets my silver medal.
Let's switch it up. Let's give your gold first because we got a video for Kent.
Okay, my gold medal goes, and it should have a 10-minute long video, but I don't get the same sort of treatment that Ken gets. So the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves have won their 6th consecutive division title. The Atlanta Braves have won 23 division titles since they went to divisions in 1969. That's more than any team in baseball. Remember, they had like a 14-year straight run of division titles back in the 90s and early 2000s. They're on another one now with 6 straight division titles. Ken, I know you're a baseball guy, and I know the Cincinnati Reds are your team, and they're competitive this year. But you got to hand it to the Atlanta Braves for consistency. Have they only got 2 World Series titles? Yes, but for consistency, man, that organization is just top line.
Yeah, I mean, just great consistency. The front office and the personnel decisions they make, is incredible. When Freddie Freeman left, some people, the sky's falling, they're going to fall apart, and the first baseman they come in,
Matt Olson,
he's unbelievable.
Comes in and sets a franchise record for home runs.
Yeah.
It's a franchise. Henry Aaron, Willie McCullough.
Yeah.
I'm talking about some home run hitters.
And that's amazing, those numbers you gave. 6 straight division titles. That's hard to do because when you win and you're on top, everybody wants to play you. Everybody targets you. Everybody wants to beat you. But then 23 division titles.
And everybody judges you by how it ends, right? So the Braves are known for choking in the postseason, right? Well, they did it with the Phillies last year.
It's unfortunate, but you can't take away those numbers.
That's right. You can't take away those numbers. You got to get there to be there.
Yeah.
And the Braves can get there. Yeah. That's my gold medal.
Great one. Yeah.
You got a gold medal or?
Oh, yeah, I do have a gold medal.
Well,
I got so mesmerized by your gold medal.
Well,
I was still dialed in on the Braves.
I do have that about me.
Yeah. So my gold medal is a video tonight. I'm not going to talk about it, but this guy has been doing it a long time. He's the best. Lee Corso, mascot, helmet gear, 400th one. Watch this video. If you didn't see it Saturday, it's incredible.
When LC puts on the headgear every Saturday morning, that is the moment when the day of football can start.
Could have never have dreamt that it would have become where we are today, where fans every week, that's what they wait for, to see which headgear he's going to put on.
I like Ohio State's speed and power, but I question their place kicker and their punter.
The headgear tradition started in 1996 at Ohio State. Herb Street was fairly new on the show, and Kirk's wife Allison had been an Ohio State cheerleader.
He thought I might have some kind of in to try to get Brutus his headgear.
They had to do some very high-level, tense negotiations.
I'm telling you, it took 3 or 4 different back and forths until finally they green-lighted Brutus.
I'm telling you one thing. Buckeyes!
Let's just examine the Brutus head. It's a head representing a nut, a 2-tone nut.
I like the Buckeyes!
So it's ridiculous looking. You can't help but laugh.
Ho, 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 ho!
And when he sensed that was an entertaining moment that resonated with fans across the sport, he embraced it, and it's become a beloved tradition.
Power
All right, we're going to head into week 3, Dave's Dandy Dozen. We're going to start it off the right way by dropping the Cleveland Browns. Browns traveled into Pittsburgh, lost 26-22 to an okay Steelers team. The real reason they dropped 2 spots this week, and I hate dropping due to injuries, but the loss of Nick Chubb was brutal and is a huge blow. Prayers go out to Nick and the whole team. Just watching one replay, that hurt. Defense also allowed 6 sacks on Deshaun Watson. Coming in at number 11 with a new spot on the power rankings are the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta has now won 4 straight games, started by Desmond Ridder, and 2 at home to start this season. Although he threw his first career pick on Sunday, what set him apart was his ability to come up with plays when the team needed him most. That, teamed with Robinson's run game, makes for a good Falcons start to 2023. Dropping a spot, number 10, are the Detroit Lions. Although the Lions lost on Sunday, they played a good Seattle team and a good Seahawks quarterback. Jared Goff and St. Brown are hitting a great stride, while the run game is still strong with the 1-2 punch, although they lost one that is questionable, with Montgomery possibly out on this Sunday. Look for Detroit to rebound and play a great game against the visiting Falcons this week. That's going to be a good game. Coming in at number 9 and moving up 3 spots, the Baltimore Ravens. 3 players running over 40 yards in the victory over the Bengals sent a message to the league that the Ravens' run game won't be stopped even without Dobbins. Lamar had 237 yards and 2 touchdown throws, as well as 54 yards rushing. This week I predict they'll get win number 3 against the Colts. Number 8, dropping a spot, are the New York Jets. The Jets have had a rough start to the season, losing Rodgers, then seeing quarterback Zach Wilson throw 44% completions for only 170 yards, 3 picks, and a rating of 38.1. However, they kept their streak of bad luck alive by playing the most formidable defense in the NFL, the Cowboys. So, can't fault them too much. Number 7, losing a spot, are the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jags faced a Chiefs team that looked more like the Chiefs than the first game of the season, for sure. Jags O-line still allowed 4 sacks on Trevor Lawrence and held him to 216 yards. Jags only allowed Trevor to throw for 216, sorry. A lot of details to the Jags game that made them formidable in week 1. Weren't there in week 2. So let's see how they fare against the visiting Texans this week. Coming in at number 6 and moving up 2 spots are the Buffalo Bills. The Bills played lights-out defense against Garoppolo in their 38-10 stomping of the Raiders, holding him to just 185 yards and 2 picks. Josh Allen, however, had 274 yards and 3 touchdowns, connecting with Diggs and Davis at will, seemingly. We also got to see James Cook emerge with 123 yards rushing, and he doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. Number 5, staying in the same spot, are the Kansas City Chiefs. When the Chiefs took the field in Jacksonville, we didn't know what version of Mahomes we'd see. However, 305 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, assuaged our fears. We also saw the comeback of Kelsey with a touchdown and Chris Jones with 1.5 sacks. The Chiefs host the Bears this week. I look forward to another Chiefs victory. Miami comes in at number 4, dropping a spot. The Dolphins arrived in New England looking for a second encouraging win to start the season and defeated the decent Patriots team 24-17. The reason that they're at 4 and dropping a spot is because there's 3 other teams that prove they need to be in the top 3. Mostert had 121 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns, while Tua kept the hot streak up with 250 passing. And we also saw the Fish's defense come away with 4 sacks on the game. At number 3 and moving up a spot are the Dallas Cowboys. The difference in decent teams and great teams are that great teams have star players that perform as expected. Prescott had 255 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tony Pollard had 72 yards rushing. CeeDee Lamb had 143 yards receiving. And the talented defense was led by 2 sacks from Micah Parsons. Dallas is the real deal, and I'm scared for Arizona this week. Number 2, dropping a spot. We have a new number 1. Are the San Francisco 49ers. A lot of people have them as the number 1. But to win against the Rams with the thinning secondary the Niners had by the game's end was impressive. However, they have a thinning secondary at the moment. Yes, Purdy overthrew a few throws, but he genuinely looked halfway decent. Not a flashy win against Stafford and his young, talented offense, but it did the job keeping Kyle Shanahan's team in the top 3. At number 1 are the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles defense had a tough time containing Cousins, Jefferson duo, but how can you stop it? Not a lot of teams can. It's Cunningham Moss 2.0, I believe. And the Vikings, Daniel Hunter. This is where it was. Daniel Hunter had 3 sacks on the game. But alas, the Eagles were just too much. DeAndre Swift's 175 yards rushing. Hurts' arm and legs, Devontae Smith's 131 yards receiving were just too much. However, playing a 2-0 Bucs team in Tampa this week might prove as trouble. So let's pick some games, fellas. What do you say? All right, we're going to pick some games. Hi, fellas. All right, so the first game we're going to pick are the Falcons at the Lions. That's Sunday at noon on Fox. Fellas, I got to say that I like the Lions in this matchup. And I picked the Lions to win by at least a touchdown. I'm going to say, I don't know why I wrote this score. 28-14. I think the Lions are going to win this game. What do y'all think?
I think the Lions score more touchdowns. The Falcons, I'm not sold on Desmond Ridder for the Falcons at quarterback. Give me the Lions at home.
I have some policies in picking games. I mention them when they come along. One is that I'll never pick the Atlanta Falcons ever for anything. So, Detroit.
All right, next game we got are the Eagles at the Bucs. This is going to be a great game to watch. That's going to be the Monday Night Football game, 6:15 p.m. on ABC. Y'all, I hate to say it, I'm going to pick the Bucs in this win. I'm going to pick them by a field goal. I have down 20-17. What do y'all think?
Fly, Eagles, fly. You know, these are 2-0 teams, but I think the Eagles will stay unbeaten. Too much speed at wide receiver, too much speed on offense for the Tampa Bay to handle.
Yeah, Tampa Bay's been kind of impressive. 6:15 starter. There are 2 Monday night games this week as well. I know there was last week.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that football starting at 6 o'clock on Monday night. That's pretty cool. I like the Eagles.
And heading into our third game, the Colts at the Ravens. That's Sunday at noon on CBS. I really like this matchup. However, I think the Ravens playing at home are going to give them an edge. I'm going to say 17-14, Ravens win.
Ravens.
Ravens. Lamar Jackson, the Ravens.
Yeah,
I think Lamar's playing some of his best football right now. Last game that I have is going to be the Titans at the Browns. Honestly, y'all, the Titans looked pretty decent. Tannehill came into his own, found a lot of different receivers. I think the defense is starting to look stellar like they were predicted to look, and I think the loss of Nick Chubb is a big loss for the Browns. I pick the Titans to beat the Browns 17-10.
Well, Mr. Obvious, I guess Nick Chubb is a pretty big loss for the Browns. You know, the Titans, I like Spears. He's putting together some of the highest averages and stuff in professional football for running backs. I told you, Derrick Henry's done. We ain't seeing no more 75-yard Derrick Henry runs unless the defense is way out of position. So it's tough to win on the road. NFL's so unpredictable. Titans look good last week. I'll take the Browns.
I'm going to take the Titans to win this game. I think it's going to be a defensive battle, old AFC Central throwback when it was the Houston Oilers against the Browns. They used to have some slugfest defensively. Give me the Titans in an upset here.
All right, Kim, we're going to go to your picks. You ready?
Yeah, we got 3 monster games. The first one is the Florida State Seminoles at the Clemson Tigers. The Tigers are tough in Death Valley. Florida State, the higher-ranked team, they come in at number 4. They slipped a spot. I've got the Seminoles to drive the dagger through Dabo and the Clemson Tigers. Give me Florida State.
I'm with you. And Seminoles, go ahead and just put as many as you can on it. We always like that.
Ohio State at Notre Dame. So this is going to be, to me, the game of the day. I had to consult my Notre Dame expert, Dr. Dustin Flowers, on this one. Big Notre Dame fan. He said, watch out. A household name you're going to know after Saturday night is Notre Dame running back Aldrick Estime. He's averaging about 130 yards a game. They've got 2 NFL tackles, a high draft pick, this future draft pick named Alt at left tackle. His dad, John, played for the Kansas City Chiefs, if you remember him. But the matchup of the game is All-American cornerback Ben Morsey with Notre Dame versus Marvin Jones or Marvin Harrison Jr. of Ohio State. So that's the big matchup. Dustin believes that the Notre Dame can hold their own at cornerback with Morsey on Harrison. He likes the poise of their quarterback, Sam Hartman, and he predicts, and I'm going with him on this, Notre Dame to beat Ohio State 34-28. He gave me a score, so I'm going to share that. I'm going to hang with you on this one, Dustin. Notre Dame wins.
Well, that does sound like a Notre Dame fan, doesn't it? You know, the Golden Dome and Touchdown Jesus is a lot, but it's not enough to beat Ohio State, the Buckeyes.
I think Lee Corso will be wearing a leprechaun suit in his pregame uniform on this one. And the last one, the Colorado Buffaloes. Coach Prime goes to Oregon for a primetime ABC matchup. Man, the viewership was unreal, that Colorado State game. One of the highest viewerships of all times for a football game. Colorado, 3 touchdown underdogs. The last time they started the season, 21-point underdogs. They beat TCU. Not this time. Give me Bo Nix and the Ducks. Travis Hunter out. Lacerated liver, unfortunate on a cheap shot on the sidelines against Colorado State. Coach Prime gets his first loss, Scott. Give me the Ducks.
Whew, I like me some Ducks here. I'm already sick of Coach Prime. I'm already sick of hearing about Colorado. They've done nothing. Win this game, and then you can talk some more about them.
All right, Scott.
Lawrence County at Spring Hill. 2 teams fighting to stay out of the bottom of Region 5. 5A. I picked them already and they won't back it up. But I'm going to try them one more time at home because Lawrence County, not very good. Spring Hill, I like the Raiders.
Raiders over Wildcats. Spring Hill wins.
Shelbyville at Franklin County. Some separation will begin here in Region 5A. The Golden Eagles are sitting at the top. Franklin County is just one of those teams that needs to keep winning. They're at home, but Shelbyville's got too much firepower. I will take the Golden Eagles.
I agree with you. Should be a really good ball game. Close contest, Golden Eagles.
I don't agree with that. Not a close contest. Columbia at Tullahoma. Again, 2 teams. Columbia's already lost to Shelbyville, so they don't have that tiebreaker. So they're really fighting for their second place lives. Tullahoma still got an outside shot at first, but probably fighting for second place and a chance to host. Homecoming, all the stuff that goes around it. Unfortunately for Tullahoma, Columbia is going to come in here with just a little bit too much size, just a little bit too much speed. And I've received this line from my guy today, so I'm going to throw it out there. Columbia by 12.5.
Big line. Give me the Wildcats in an upset. They want to win their first game at Wilkins Stadium this year and beat the Lions.
All right. It's 2-minute warning time, Dave. You've got 2.
2-minute warning.
All right. So I'm going to start with sometimes boys just want to have fun. The great Cyndi Lauper said that, right? So I want to have fun too. I want to talk about the rookies in the NFL this year. I've genuinely enjoyed watching this rookie class. Anthony Richardson, Colts quarterback, 279 yards passing through 2 games, 75 yards rushing, 3 rushing touchdowns, 4 total touchdowns. Bijan Robinson of the Falcons, 180 yards rushing through 2 games, 75 yards receiving, 6.2 yards per attempted carry on the season. Will Anderson Jr. of the Texans, 9 total tackles with a sack. Brian Branch, in his first game in the NFL, intercepted a ball for a pick 6 off Patrick Mahomes. How's that to a welcome to the league? Puka Nacua, one of the standouts this year for the Rams, wide receiver, 111 yards after catch in his first 2 games. Most by a Rams player since Cooper Kupp had 146 in 2021. Now, when Cooper Kupp comes back, that's going to be a dangerous team. And let me show you this right here. This epitomizes Puka Nacua. Right there, that image. 3 49ers trying to tackle this guy. This guy is the real deal. I'm excited about this rookie class for a lot of reasons. But quite frankly, it's because they're the only ones looking like they give a crap on the field. Like they care at all. I'm hopeful that a young batch of talent will help drive the NFL into a new era where we don't hold out for more money, where we actually play the games and the game that we love because we love to play the game. Grow up, y'all. Y'all are getting so much money to sit on the bench and say, I don't get enough money. And these rookies are coming in and they're taking your jobs.
Reset that clock, Diamond Dave. 2-minute warning. Look, I grew up collecting sports cards. I love sports from a very young age. Baseball, football, and basketball. I ate it, slept it, and breathed it. So I brought 3 cards in of 3 of my heroes growing up. The first one, Pete Rose, Big Red Machine, all-time hits leader. Love the way Charlie Hustle played the game. And the neat thing about these sport cards is, you know, you can get some neat statistics or facts about a player that you didn't know about. And it's fun to trade these things or just keep them and think about old times when you rooted for your favorite players. So that was my favorite baseball player. My favorite football player was Roger Staubach, Captain Comeback, Dallas Cowboys. Man, I love watching this guy play. He won the Heisman Trophy with the Naval Academy. Loved Roger Staubach. Watched the Cowboys play every Sunday. They were America's team, and they still are America's team. And basketball, Larry Legend, Larry Bird. Just remember watching him in the NCAA tournament. He got knocked out by Magic Johnson, the rivalry that they developed. Just a great competitor. All these guys, great competitors. When I played sports, I was never a pro, but I played and learned from those guys and how hard they played the game and learned how to win. But I've got a Hall of Fame. Staubach and Bird are in the Hall of Fame. I got a Hall of Fame that all of you can be in. God's Hall of Fame. Your name may not appear down here in the world's Hall of Fame. In fact, you may be so unknown that no one knows your name. The Oscars and the praise of men may never come your way, but never forget God has rewards he will hand out someday. This crowd on earth will soon forget when you're not on top. They will cheer like mad until you fall, and then the praise will stop. Not God, he never does forget. And in his Hall of Fame, by just believing in his son Jesus forever, there is your name. I tell you, friends, I wouldn't trade my name, however small. It's written there beyond the stars in that celestial hall. For all the famous names on earth, or the glory they share, I'd rather be an unknown here and have my name up there. God's Hall of Fame. You can be there.
I got to follow that. You got a video, Dave? Let's hit it.
The second half. Etienne picks his way, follows his block, and Burr's still going. Etienne in a foot race, and he'll win it. Touchdown, Gators.
He bounces it right there. I mean, look at that cut. You got 2 ball defenders trying to work outside and gets underneath him.
The only 3 guys dressed in those colors here tonight. Milton under pressure, hit as he throws, just lofts it up, and it's an interception. Mertz sneaks it, Doesn't even need much of a push. No signal yet. Touchdown.
To do with the result of the play.
Mertz flips it to Johnson, and a long way to go. Slips a tackle, still running, makes a cut, and scores! 16, he'll run around as the clock ticks down, and now get knocked down as he took a knee. A flag comes out, and that is a fitting ending to things.
Here we go.
Yeah, this is about to get ugly. Oh, look at
But it didn't get ugly. Look, Tennessee, you got a lot of work to do. Kamal Hadden, number 5 in the secondary. I'm begging you, son, begging you to enter that transfer portal. You are killing us every game, game after game. Penalty, number 5. Gets beat deep, number 5. And now you got the nerve to square up your fist at some guy at the end of the game. You should be kicked off the team, Kamal Hadden. You're useless. I'm sure you're a fine human being. I'm sure your mom and daddy raised you good. But when it comes to playing football for Tennessee, you ain't worth a crap. And you need to enter the transfer portal and go to Alabama. That's where you need to be, Kamal Hadden. That's going to do it. For Season 2, Episode 6 of Gold Ball Sports, for Dave Myers and Ken Keller, I'm Scott Chastain. Other than Kamal Hadden, be good to each other.